Growing up, I always was surrounded by cars. My dad actually was a mechanic in Korea, and he would tell me stories about how he would work on police cars and then joyride them only to get caught later. Listening to those car stories from him, as well as going to the events like the Chicago Auto Show, was just a part of my identity. And hanging out with friends in high school whose older brothers would drive Speed 3s, Integras, Genesis Coupes, and other JDMs was such an incredible experience. I don't know, as a kid, when you just hang out with older people, everything just seems more fun. Since then, enthusiast cars always had a special place in my heart. I remember watching my first Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, when movies were actually about cars and not about trains and shit, as well as Initial D for the first time, and being in such admiration that things like this were created for car enthusiasts in mind. Finally, that attraction grew from a wow, that's cool to I hope one day I get to experience my own enthusiast car. Because at home, we had a Lexus RX 350, the typical Korean mom car, and man, that thing is reliable. It actually was the car that I learned to drive in, and it took me to many different places. I had a lot of experiences on that car, which led me to do some more research on the brand Lexus. And I came across my first poster car, which was a Lexus Rcf. I told myself one day that I'll be able to purchase such a beast of a car, and then finally when I was able to, I realized it just wasn't the car for me. You know when they say never meet your heroes? Yeah, it was kind of that moment for me, and that's when I started to look at M2s, M3s, other Euro brands. I honestly started to look at Hellcats and Chargers and Scat Packs, but I still wanted my first car to be within the Asian JDM market, mainly because I was looking for performance and the reliability that Lexus gave me. Words that, people can say kind of lost their meaning within the Asian car market, but recently seem to be found. And no, it's not because I'm Asian. And finally, it came to me. I'm so excited to share with you guys my 2022 Toyota Supra.
Nice.
What is going on, guys? Thanks for watching that little diatribe of how I got into cars. Today we'll be talking about my 2022 Toyota Supra. Color is Absolute Zero Metallic, and honestly this color is one of my favorite, next to the Turbulence Gray, which is like a gunmetal type of color. I think white really does show the body lines of the car very well. When you start getting into the darker colors of the grays and the blacks, that's when some of the body lines kind of mesh in due to the color hiding them. But in my opinion, white is one of the best colors for the Supra. I had this car about 4 weeks now, and man, this car is so fun to drive. For those of you guys that don't know, I came from a Lexus NX200T. It is your typical Korean mom car, very reliable. My whole family came from Lexuses, and within that little diatribe of video, kind of explained to you, how I got into Lexus. And before this car, I was going to buy a RCF, but really comparing the RCF to the Supra, it's really not comparable. I mean, the RCF is a good car in itself, and is it's a grand tour, it's a GT car, that's how I see it. But the Supra, yes, I mean, people can say it's a GT car, but man, this is the performance car. This is, in my opinion, a embodiment of your standard two-door, two-seater coupe performance car. Going back to the rear of the car, you have your double exhaust tips here. within the exhaust tips, I'll insert an exhaust clip here. But yeah, this exhaust is really good. If you guys want to hear like, you know, loud exhaust, that exhaust is definitely for you. A lot of pops and bangs within the 4-cylinder, because there is a 2.0 variant and there's a 3.0 variant. The 2.0 has the B48, which is BMW's 4-cylinder turbo, and then this one is a 3.0, so it has the B58, which is the inline 6-cylinder. The 2.0 does not pop and bang as much as well as the 3, because when you put this in sport mode, it is creaking loud, and man, it honestly, like, there is a huge difference. You see Charlie over there next to my girlfriend's mom, but yeah, there's a huge difference. Another thing I do like about this car is really the styling and design of the look. So when you go into the rear, one of my favorite viewpoints is probably like this angle here. I don't know if it's the quarter panel angle, but man, it just looks so aggressive. I get a lot of compliments on just the car styling itself. I think when it comes to just a super styling overall, a lot of people think that this is like, you know, like a 100K car or something, and they just stare at the car. But you know, if you guys are enthusiasts, you would know that it's not a 100K car. It's just the styling is very aggressive. I really do like the wide bodiness of these the fenders and the rear arches as well. It really gives this car a angry stance, and when you go into the back, you can see how it squats very nicely and have these hips out. So you know, the car definitely has a butt. But yeah, styling is definitely a big thing. One thing I really am looking forward to is putting a spoiler or a the duckbill lip on here, because I think this car will look, oh my god, I will wash this car, very dirty. I think this car will look even better if it had a lip. I know TJ Hunt and, you know, their company has like the Street Hunter body kit and they have the Street Hunter wing, and so I'm looking into that one as well. But maybe adding a lip will definitely bring this car, just tidy it up a little bit more. So going to the trunk, sorry, my trunk is very messy. You actually do have a decent amount of space in the trunk, and that was one thing I was surprised about. So when I first got this car at the dealership, I was at home, and in my Lexus I brought back, you know, a whole computer desktop, my gaming rig, a suitcase, backpacks, and some other things, and I was worried that the Supra was not going to be able to haul all of that back to my apartment in Chicago. And so I was surprised that the gaming rig fit here, the backpack fit here, my girlfriend's bag fit here. This is a car cover. This fit very well, like this, and just kind of sat like that. And she was able to put her backpack here. Everything was able to fit in very nicely with the car. So if you guys think that you're going to have space issues with this car, I really don't think so. I think you can get away with like a nice weekend trip. Oh, before I close the trunk, one thing that I want to point out is that when washing the car, neighbor's dog, when washing the car, water kind of collects in this area and then pools down here. And I noticed that when washing the car as well as rain, and I think that's just how the car's body line is like. So I don't know if that's going to annoy any of you guys who are super into detailing, but just be advised that when you wash the car and rinse the car out, water's gonna be trapped here, and it's gonna scoop down here, and then you're gonna have just a little bit of like a reservoir here. And again, you can tell the sediments of the water and puddle. There's a little bit of stuff there. Same thing goes here. Water's gonna come down, it's gonna trap, and it's gonna be right there. So that's one thing to remember about this car. I think it's just about the body shape and design. Not a huge deal breaker, but you know, just something I wanted to point out. One of my friends gifted me the AMS carbon fiber wind buffeting, and when you have these on, there's no buffing at all. Again, I think it was because of the design. Once you start getting more sleek into, you know, performance cars and just the style of the body itself, if you drive with the windows down, it just creates more opportunity for air to be trapped in the cabin. So very thankful that I got gifted this by my friend Mingu. Super awesome. Thankful for that. Yeah, so that really, does it. This car is honestly very fun to drive. You'll get a lot of luck. So if you want a car that, brings that attention, you don't really see often, because let's be real, as enthusiasts, yeah, we know this car. This is Supra. No, is that a Supra? Is that a Supra? Or nice BMW, but realistically, like, I haven't seen a lot of Supras on the road. There was one time in my 4 weeks of ownership where I saw a white Supra, and then we gave each other like the thumbs up on the highway. And then the other time I saw another Supra that was wrapped like Tiffany blue. But other than that, unless you go to car meets, you don't see a lot of these Supras on the road. I see a lot of C7s, C8s, obviously a lot of Mustangs, Scat Packs, Chargers, all the M's, but not a lot of Supras. And so if you want a unique car that gives you that supercar styling as well as the handling and performance, definitely I recommend the Supra. So I got this Supra at MSRP. Yeah, I got a Supra at MSRP, and actually $500 under, because they screwed up, something happened. And funny enough, they told me one day that a Turbulent Gray, which is the gunmetal Supra, came, and they wanted me to stop by and check it out. This, even though it's not my allocation, maybe the Turbulence Gray is something that I'm interested in. And I was super excited. I came over, and literally when I'm pulling up into the dealership, somebody bought it. Somebody was signing the papers and purchasing the car. And because I drove so far from where I live to that dealership, and they ultimately wasted my time, they knocked $500 off, as well as gave me a higher trade-in on my car that I was, trading in for the Supra. And I got this car under MSRP, especially in this market, having a Supra under MSRP, that's awesome, that's amazing. Any car under MSRP, that's amazing. And because of that, I really did have a good time working with them on the car. If you guys are in Illinois, I will tag the Toyota dealership in the info at the bottom. So if you guys are in the market for a Supra, RAV4, Camry, definitely check out that dealership if you're close. I already referred a couple friends there, and they said it was a great place to go. Yeah guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope I was able to help you out on any of the questions. Maybe you guys are looking to buy a Toyota Supra, whatever that might be. Hope I was able to help you out on the pros and cons of ownership of having this car. I want to do a lot of things to this car: aesthetic mods, performance mods, for sure throwing on an exhaust, as well as a big ass wing on this car, because it definitely needs it to look more aggressive. I also want to bring this car out to a couple of the events here in Illinois. It's August right now, so slowly starting to wind down the season, but we still have a couple more events in August as well as September that I want to document as well. So if any of those things interest you, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, show me some love, give me some feedback on what you guys think. Maybe you guys are looking for the Supra and are kind of like wondering what's it like driving in a big city. Trying to make a video like that as well. But yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.